All right, we are going to get started. I know that the participation is a little slim, but I do see we have Scott on and JJ and Kendra. She's one of the regional chairs. Kendra, I know you're kind of busy, but do you mind jumping on and just introducing yourself for a minute if you're able to?
Sure. Apologize for being late.
No,
I got
you're fine.
stuck in some paving traffic.
That's perfect.
I'm Kendra Graham. I work with the University of Missouri, and I am an extension engagement specialist. Just recently switched from being a livestock specialist to kind of an administrative role. So,
Well, good. Well, thank you. You did great this year. This was her first year as a 4-H vice chair. And then we also have Kevin Cam out of Florida and Randall Violet from Wyoming. And who am I missing? Oh, Shannon Dill out of Maryland. So I think Shannon and Randall are rolling off, and this will be Kevin and Kendra's second term as vice chair. So Kendra, I know we've talked a lot. We've had some meetings and we've been emailing as a committee, but we're going to kind of go through and plan our workshop and talk about, what we felt we did really great on, what we could improve on, and then also what what we're looking for next year. So typically we've done this at the meeting. And this is done beforehand, which I do like, but just kind of talking about our committee and trying to get a good shape for next year. So we can start meeting back in September after AMPIC and starting to plan for the next AMPIC. So I've shared my screen. I think you can see it. So this is our annual report. So again, we talked about our vice chairs, our committee goals for the upcoming year. Last year, we had some committee goals. We did talk about doing a Zoom 365 last year. I know at our committee meetings, we decided not to do that just because of time, and we didn't necessarily know of a great topic to do. So that's something that we can look at for next year. We did talk about contacting the first timers and contacting the state and state presidents and the 4-H committee chairs for each state and really send a push out. That was one thing that we talked about a lot. And I'm super proud that we did that. I think that worked out a lot. I don't think we get the amount of presentations that we would get if it wasn't for us pushing out that, because I think one of our main goals was to make sure that we had a lot of presentations represented in 4-H and youth development at the AMPIC. So that was one of our big committee goals, and I think we achieved that, and I would like to continue that to next year for that. Can you think of anything else that you would like to see us do for the coming year? We can always explore the Zoom 365 if we have a good topic. We did one 2 years ago and had some pretty good attendance, and then also had some pretty good views afterwards online at the YouTube channel. But is there anything that one of the goals that you think, Kendra, that we can focus on next year? You can think of? Okay.
I know we had talked about maybe expanding on the presentations and possibly using those funds for material purchase or something to support those presentations if they had some item or maybe curriculum or something that could be passed on. I think that's a really good idea to put some of this information into the hands of the attendees, and maybe
Right.
And not having been a part of this committee before, maybe increase attendance at the presentations also.
And I know that was one of the things that we talked about a lot last year, and I did contact or it was talked about at some of the board meetings, about doing some type of kit or having something to aid the presenters with their presentation or the program that they're talking about at AMPIC. I do think, like we talked about, it was a little late by the time we kind of figured out that we could do it and we could use the funds for that and promoting it. But I would like to in September start right away talking about how we're going to do that. What is the best way to do that? Is there, a minimum on what it would be? Would it just be printing curriculum? How will we get it there? The logistics of it. Because I think that could bring a lot to our program and to our committee and to our presentations. Because there's nothing better than going to a presentation and having something not huge, obviously, because of travel and stuff, for something for these attendees to take home with them. It makes the program easier for them to jumpstart in their states or their communities or locally. And I think that is a great pull for the 4-H committee. So we do need to look at that next year. And I do talk about that a little bit more later, but I think that is a great idea. So we will get started on that right away after AMPIC. Was there anything else you could think of?
Not really.
And I do have that down here. Go ahead.
I'm glad we had the maximum amount of presentations that we could possibly have and had to turn people away. I think that's a good
absolutely
a good thing going forward.
And we had great presentations too. I mean,
Yeah.
So I think that's even better. Yes. And last year, it looks like for our plan of the coming year, we had host at least 15 seminars at the AMPIC for 2024. Obviously, we're limited on that, but we exceeded that. So I would like to exceed that again. And just get some really good programs that are well attended and well sought after. So I agree with that. And then another thing we talked about. Go ahead.
Hey, so let me just kind of give you a forewarning. Billings may not have that opportunity to have more than just a set number like we did this year. Right? I had overflow space I could work y'all into. Billings, our spaces could be fairly limited. We don't know yet because again, we can't start planning Billings till Dallas is over with. Right. But we've been warned that space may be, like for example, we have it's either 5 or 6 super seminars. We're almost pretty sure we have to limit that to 3. So right. I'm assuming presentation space will have to be limited as well. But so I'm just warning you. But I'm not saying don't go out and promote it. Get as many as you can, but don't be surprised if 10 may be the max. But now we'll fight and get as many as we can. But we're limited on what space is available.
Okay, that's good to know. So that is good to know, but we still hope to get a lot and get some great presentations. So thank you for that, JJ.
I have a question regarding that, and I guess maybe this is directed towards JJ too. Can we do like if we're limited on presentations, could we do a day or a half a day or whatever before or after the AMPIC to allow those people to present virtually, kind of maybe a build up to the AMPIC and then a wrap up afterwards type thing?
Well, the answer to the question is I don't know because no one's tried that before. So that would be if you have that request, put it towards ask the board if it's okay, and then we can decide. Off the top of my head, with just shotgunning it, I don't see an issue one way or another. You could, because we do free tours right now. But and so I don't know. I don't see a problem with it. I could play devil's advocate and say, well, why would I want to do it virtually after the meeting? Because when I want to do it at me, because a lot of places like Ohio, those guys use it for their promotion documentation because they presented at a national meeting. So, but if that's something you'd like to explore, I tell every committee this: if you've got a request, make a request. Just be specific on what you're requesting, and then if there's any history as the reason why you're doing that request, put that with it, and then because this board is probably more open to change are changing things than any other board I've been associated with in the 20 years, 30 years I've been doing this. But they're not going to change for change's sake. So,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea, Kendra. I'll put that down here, for that. That's always an option, especially if we do get, quite a few abstracts submitted again. We could definitely look at that, so. And another thing we talked about is, creating a handout or something that is, a little flashy that we could include with our emails about, trying to encourage participation and submission for abstracts. So we will work on that as well. And then we did talk down here, the budget. We put down, same budget as last year. We have not used anything in our budget, the last couple of years that I know of. But this would be, again, where we would use, if we can, and if we get permission again, to somehow figure out, the presentation giveaways or the programming kits or whatever we decided to do that. I think we kind of write a standstill just to get, the okay with what we could do with them and what we couldn't. And then obviously logistically, we would have to figure that out, which, could take some time and some planning. So we will focus back on that in September as well. Do you have any questions about the budget?
I'm good.
Okay. I guess moving on to that, are there any recommendations for committee involvement in future AMPICs for us? Right now, our main involvement are the presentations of the abstracts. I don't know the other things we could do would be a super seminar, which it does sound like we would be limited on that next year potentially, and then also a pre-conference tour. And I'm not exactly sure how well attended some of that would be. The problem with 4-H is everybody typically has some type of 4-H, but it might not be their primary area in their position. So we can explore those if that's something that we think would be beneficial or successful as well. So
Are the super seminars kind of tied to a post or a conference tour?
no,
No.
Okay.
they're separate.
what super seminar's way to think of it is some program that takes more than 30 minutes to explain or go over. And I'm going to tell you, from my perspective, I like the ones that are engaging, not just a death by PowerPoint type deal. And so, like this time, they've got a V demonstration. There's one over mental health, one over grant writing, and my memory. That's about as far as my memory gets right now. But you see what I'm saying? So it's just a subject matter that takes longer than what a presentation, a 30-minute presentation could go.
And that's something that we could definitely do if we have the right topic and the interest in it. I think there's a time slot for the super seminar, and I think part of this year with not having as many as they didn't want them to conflict with as many presentations is conflict with those super seminars. Am I right in that, JJ?
Yeah, that's it. If you have 5 rooms of presentations and 5 super seminars going on at one time, somebody's going to get their feelings hurt and nobody shows up.
Mm-hmm.
So we trying to do that. So.
Okay, and then is there any recommendations for board action? So this would be anything that we've seen that needs to be changed with committee duties, responsibilities, policy. I know I've sent out the handbook before and we've kind of talked about it, but I never saw anything that we suggested that needed to be changed, or we even talked about that. So unless you have something for that, we'll be good with that. And then are there any other ideas or items that we wish to record or that you can remember that have been brought up? I've kind of made some notes. But last year we had to talk about the committee structure task force and get some input for that and some feedback. This year, I don't really have anything that we haven't already discussed. Can you think of anything, Kendra?
No, I can't.
I can't either. And then here's our committee report. So we had 18 abstracts that were submitted. 12 will be shared at the AMPIC, and then hopefully we get some good attendance for that. And I'll put the attendance numbers in there, or we'll send those to Sherry after the presentations are completed. Am I missing anything? I've sent out an email to our presenters, and I think I copied y'all on there, just letting them know where our room assignments would be, and that we will not have internet to make other arrangements for that. So, be it they bring it on a flash drive, or they embed their video links, or whatever it might be, just so that they are prepared. And I will send out a reminder when it gets a little closer to. I just wanted them to be fully prepared to come and present and have a good presentation experience when they come to our presentation room. All right, well, I think that's it, unless you have anything to add, JJ or Scott, that I might have missed or didn't discuss.
No, as far as I can tell, covered it all. So.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, well, I'll make